Something that happens surprisingly commonly in dogs and cats is a false pregnancy. And to pet parents who have not seen it before or heard of it before, it can be quite shocking, concerning, confusing, or all of the above. So, today we're going to dive into the what, why, and how of false pregnancy and what you can do about it, or whether you need to do anything about it at all. Welcome to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast, where science and research meets simplicity, practicality, and humor. Because we all know that pet parenting isn't just one thing. It's magical, beautiful, life-changing, frustrating, and overwhelming all at the same time. I'm Dr. Ashita Suresh, a vet, a mom, a dog mom, on the multiple species pet parenting journey just like so many of you. Join me as we cut through the noise, fear, and fluff and take pet parenting from overwhelming to, well, barely manageable. So, what's a false pregnancy? Well, it's just that. Your pet showing all the physical symptoms of pregnancy when she isn't actually pregnant. Now, as to why it happens, the reason is different in dogs and cats. In dogs, it's got everything to do with how their hormones are arranged, so to speak. Now, after the heat cycle, whether they have been mated or not, regardless of whether they've had any male exposure or not, their body secretes progesterone, which is the pregnancy hormone, for about 2 months. Yes, very high level manifestation they have, but I did not make the rules. This pretty much means that false pregnancy is actually considered a normal part of the cycle. And I often like to say that, hormonally speaking, every female dog is either pregnant or pseudo pregnant, meaning false pregnant. The only difference that does come, however, in how severely they actually show the signs, or whether they even show the signs or not. Some get by without any noticeable symptoms at all, while others are fully lactating and lugging toys all around pretending that they are puppies. Now, in cats, it's a bit of a different story. So, cats are called induced ovulators, meaning that most cats only release eggs from the ovaries after mating. Even though they are in heat, if they have not been mated with a male, then ovulation does not happen for them, for most of them at least. So, a false pregnancy can happen under basically two conditions. If the cat has spontaneously ovulated without mating, like I said, it can happen. And if it was not mated and did not get pregnant, then they may undergo a false pregnancy. Second, if the female cat was mated and the eggs were released, but she did not conceive. Again, not pregnant, so false pregnant. Again, the severity of the signs and symptoms varies, and not all cats show it clearly. But unlike dogs, it doesn't happen every single time. So, what are the signs of pseudo pregnancy or a false pregnancy? They can be very non specific, like skipping food, whining, being anxious, or they can be ones that you cannot mistake, like nesting, which means they're just trying to get cloth or whatever and just building a space for them to give birth in, blankets, pillows, whatever they can get their hands on. And mammary gland enlargement, and even milk secretion from the mammary glands. And in cats, a delay in the return to heat is also a significant sign, since, their body is a little too busy thinking that they're pregnant to come back to heat. And important to note that while all these are possible, they may show all these signs, they may show none at all, or they may even handpick a few, which is why the diagnosis of pseudopregnancy, unless the hallmark symptoms related to the mammary gland are seen, is mostly a diagnosis of timing and general behavior. So, do you need to do anything about pseudopregnancy? Well, for most cases, no, you really don't need to do anything at all. While it sounds very worrying, while it can seem very worrying when it's happening, it's not a disease, it's not something that you need to cure. It is just a trick of the hormones that will pass with time. Symptomatic care is honestly the best way to go about it, meaning that treat only if the signs are bothering her. If there's milk secretion, Your vet can give medication for it. Acidity medications can help if she is vomiting because she's not eating. If the mammary glands are enlarged and seem painful, an ice pack is great. So, just treating problems as they come is honestly the best way to do about it. But again, honestly, a lot of times nothing really needs to be done about it. A few important things to note is that for dogs, if false pregnancy happens once, it's highly likely that it will happen in subsequent heat cycles. So, if you're not considering puppies in the charts for your female dog, then it's best to have her spayed. And for cats, if there's a regular delay in the heat cycle despite successful mating, it's possible that the male may be infertile. So there might be a problem with the male, which is why mating is happening, ovulation is happening, but the ovum is not getting fertilized. That would be something that you would need to take into account. Again, if this keeps happening and you're not very concerned about having kittens, it's just best to get them spayed altogether. Also, false pregnancies do not affect future fertility in your dogs and cats. If anything, it shows that your pet's fertility is top tier. That system is way too eager. I hope this helped clear things up regarding false pregnancy. It's often surprising and confusing, and I spend a good chunk of my professional life answering questions about this very topic. I have some great posts on Instagram with all this information at Indian Pet Vet. Make sure to check those out and also check out the blog if you want to read a little more about it. Thank you so much for listening to the Practical Pet Parenting Podcast. If you found this helpful, don't forget to follow, rate, or review. Whatever your podcasting app allows you to do it. You can also find me on Instagram at Indian Pet Vet and read more at practicalpetparenting.com. Much love to you and your pets, and see you next week.